Hey, what's going on, guys? Battle Nation Zimper here, back today with another video. And today, guys, we have a special type of video. We have a tier list video. So today we are going to be ranking all of the beta units currently in Battle Nations beta. This video might get outdated real quick, especially if they add a few new troops. But before we jump into this, I just want to give a special shout out to the entire Battle Nations Discord, especially the Patreon group, the donor general. A lot of guys in there. I don't even want to start listing you because it was like a dozen of you guys. I love all of you. They helped me make this list. They helped me add a lot of troops that I forgot. I forgot like 8. And because I genuinely forgot how many troops they added in the last update. So we got a few new troops in here that I've just started to get the hang of, at least within this beta. But we have all of them here. Everybody except, the only exception is naval troops. All the naval troops are excluded, and baby troops, as they're ranked as collectible, as if I had to rank them on legitimate usefulness, being that they're nanopods and weaker than their, adult counterforms, they would be complete F tier. They would be below D tier. So besides naval and baby units, everybody should be here, and yes, that includes TF2 troops. I'm sorry if you don't consider them part of Battle Nations. I did a poll, and pretty much everybody except one person in Discord and one person on YouTube wanted TF2 units, so they will be ranked here. If you disagree with that, I apologize. Please just ignore them to the best of your ability. And with all that being said, let's just jump right into it and start ranking these bad boys. So we're going to start off, actually I was going to say with the TF2 units, but we'll start off with 4 units right after them, or let's say 5. So first we're going to start off with the Dune Runner, and I'm going to go ahead and be generous here, start us off nice, and put him at a B tier. Yes, you could definitely ask a lot more from your vehicle, and especially such a weird attack pattern, you'd want something a little bit more precise, but he does do a decent amount of damage, and he's not the weakest troop, he can take a hit or two. Moving immediately on after, we're going to go to the Fire Drake, and also, by the way, before we get really into this and I start covering some people's favorite, please don't take this too serious, guys. If you think a D troop I put at D should be S tier, 100% if you're right. If you think some troops I put at S tier should be F tier, perfectly you're right. So just wanted to say it's all for good fun, and it's just the beta. A lot of things could change. Like, for example, Wimp, I don't know where he's be, but he's not going to be S tier, only because he's not level 6 yet. You can't get him maxed out, but obviously once the full game's out, he's easy S tier, no doubt. But with that being said, let's jump right back into it. The Fire Drake, I'm actually going to be really nice here and put him at an A tier. If you're in the right situation, he can be really helpful. And I'm going to say maybe even that's a little bit too generous. I'm not going to drop him all the way to C. I'm going to drop him to B. Oh, wow, dropped him to D. No, he's not that bad. If he'll let me pick him up. I just downloaded this app for this video, so I'm learning it for this video. Alright, okay, and that's the memes I made for today, so I don't mind leaking that information. I just hope it really, location is included. I hope it's not on screen. Well, let's just pretend, oh, he's gone. Well, just know he would have been a B tier in my book. So with that being said, let's continue moving on. The Marksman. Our first... Oh, nope, dropped the Scout. The Marksman. Our first and easy S tier. Bro is so unbelievably good. I love snipers in general. I really like Battle Nation snipers. I think they did really well for a turn-based game. And if we're not counting limited edition snipers, because we are, then Deadeye is by far my favorite Battle Nations sniper. He's one of my favorite Battle Nations troops, period. But if we're counting just straight in-game snipers, gotta be the Marksman. He costs nanopods, he is a nanopod unit, but easily justifiable, 100%. So he's gonna go in S tier, and following him immediately up is going to be the sniper who owns him spot at A tier. Not quite as good as the Marksman, but still a high damage killer that can easily take out some opponents if you need somebody who can be a heavy hitter to take out some particular enemies. And let's go ahead and throw in a little bit of trash here. This might ruffle some feathers, but I'm just going to go ahead and be honest. Sandbags are C tier. My biggest complaint with sandbags is, one, they're way too weak. the fact that you can get a rock, like you can go into a random battle in the overworld and find a boulder, and that boulder will have more HP than a sandbag, something you have to train. A random object you find, just from pure RNG, can have more health than that sandbag. And what really gets me, and maybe I could get over that, but what really gets me is the fact that you train sandbags, they take 5 minutes as opposed to everything else in the vehicle factory taking like several hours. You train them to be a meat shield. No duh, obviously, or I guess in this case, vehicle shield. They are so expensive to repair. Even if you have a leveled up for a vehicle factory, they are extremely expensive to repair. So yes, while they can take a hit or two, I'm just not a big fan of them. I gotta put them at my C tier. Immediately followed up, we're gonna go even harsher. We're gonna go our first D tier. AA, aka the anti-air trooper turret. Nothing wrong with them. Just AA is in the game. We haven't had a boss strike yet. So there are no aircraft in the game, so he goes in D tier. Again, nothing on him. Simply his use hasn't been discovered yet. Immediately following that, we're going to put Scout Biker on... man, I'm sorry, dude, but I gotta do D. I can't think of a use for him. I mean, he's not the worst thing in the world. He certainly isn't. You can certainly find worse units. But in my opinion, he is just one of the worst vehicles you can train. And we did way more than 4, so let's go ahead and knock out the TF2 units. First, starting off with Pyro. Easy A tier. Despite being nanopods, he earns his spot at an easy A tier. Immediately following him up, I want to go with Demo Man, who is a very similar spot, another A tier. Again, not quite cracking S tier, only because they're nanopods and they're not too crazy. But you want to crack S tier? Let's go ahead and put Heavy up there. No doubt, despite the nanopod cost, easily one of the best units in the game. I know a lot of people who, even in this beta right now, will say, I spend nanopods to get a Heavy. And to those people, you're making a good decision. Like, you can make a very good justifiable argument, despite nanopods being as strict and tight as they are in this beta right now, since you can't buy packs and you can't, get the ones you've accessed through your Patreon. Despite them only being achievable through levels right now, extremely valuable, a lot of people will spend them on a Heavy, and that is a great investment because he is so unbelievably powerful. He has 3 devastating attacks, with his most, of course, impressive being Ramsey's ripoff, which is just basically Heavy Gunner's attack, except it does so much damage and he just clears out everything. An unbelievably great troop and an easy S tier selection as well. Following it up, another immediate S tier, Soldier. So Soldier is not as good as Heavy, full stop, but Soldier is not a nanopod unit. He's a very expensive unit, being 10,000 gold and a bunch of iron and a bunch of wood, and being several hours to train. However, he is well worth that with a frag secondary attack and a rocket launcher main attack. Both of these having a 3-turn cooldown. Again, one of those would have been good. If he just had a frag attack, he'd be cool. Rocket attack, he'd be cool. But the fact that he has both, and he's not a nanopod unit, he is... I've just unlocked him in my beta Let's Play series, and unironically, he is carrying my army right now. He is so unbelievably good. So easy S tier for Scout. I'm sorry, Soldier. But speaking of Scout, he goes in A tier because, again, while not bad, he does leave a little bit to be desired. He's thankfully cheaper than Soldier, and he's not a nanopod unit, so he doesn't go into B. But even as a non-nanopod unit, he doesn't have quite enough to go into S, as Heavy or Soldier does. Next, we're going to go into the War Mammoth, and I'm going to say C. Not the worst thing in the world, but I swear they're so much stronger wild. Like, you see these guys in the wild, and they wreck your stuff up, man. But you finally get your own thinking you're going to have a destroyer, and you get nothing. So C tier, wish they were a little bit more buffed when you had them. So here's the big one, Wimp. And it's a bit of hot take, but honestly, not S. Not S yet. Not even A yet, we'll say. B. I might have gone A, but we'll just say B. Now, I know what you're thinking. Level 1, really? With that weak attack? Hear me out. Yes, I know we're supposed to be grading on current stat, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm grading him on the current status and the current understanding that, one, levels will probably be added pretty soon, and then he's immediately going to be an S, so it's an investment that's going to pay off over time. And two, the bigger reason, he is still a good meat shield. I mean, he can take a few hits, and unlike the sandbox, which is, trash and C, he is very cheap to heal. He doesn't require resources, he's very quick, and most importantly of all, he only takes gold. Again, no resources at all. So the Wimp, even right now at level 1, with levels not being in the game, no progression being added, I still got to put my boy at a level B. Gonna become S tier as soon as levels are added. Immediately following that up, we got Flame Trooper, and I really want to put you at B, but man, I can't even put you at C. I gotta put you at D, only because damage over time isn't in the game yet. Once we get damage over time, immediately better unit, immediately on the spotlight, immediately, questionable should you add it to your army. I'm saying it jumps all the way to B, maybe even A tier, depending on how good damage over time is. But as of right now, with damage over time, the fire, the burn, it shows the animation, but doesn't do, burn damage over time like it's supposed to. That isn't added to the game yet. So as its current status, with his main ability, his burn, not being added yet, I'm afraid I'm going to have to put him in D tier for now. Immediately following that up, we got the Bazooka Squad. I'm going to put them at B tier. Not the craziest bunch in the world. I think once levels are added, they'll really benefit from that. But I also can't hate them. Really good. Exactly what I'm going to say about the RPG Trooper as well. Again, I think both of these troops will level up and get a lot of benefit from that. But as of right now, they're still not bad at all. Okay, now we got something pretty big. The Hellstorm, and maybe a bit controversial, but I'm going to put them at A tier. Simply for the simple reason of their one attack, their one strike is already good. I mean, it's all you need, and as long as you're putting them as your artillery and you understand what their ability is, they're really good. Rocket Truck, hot take, but exact same way. I think both of these, like the previous two units, will benefit from leveling, but unlike the previous two, which kind of just feel neutral, I feel like both the Hellstorm and the Rocket Truck kind of over-improve. And when I put them out there and they do their work, I'm kind of like, okay, you didn't only do your job, but you survived it and did a little bit better than expected. So I'm comfortable putting both of them at an A tier for now. Immediately we go into Light Artillery, and this one's going to hurt, but I'm going to put you at a B tier for now, only because it doesn't have access to its chemical attacks. Once it gets access to chemical attacks, I think it immediately jumps to an A, and you can start discussing, how good within A it is. But as of right now, it's B, only because it can't level up and get its multiple different attacks. So immediately following that up, we have Heavy Gunner, and I'm sorry, dude, but I gotta put you at D, dude. He had so much potential. It's not there right now. It possibly up to change, but it's just, you don't see it. So immediately following that up, we got the Armadillo. I'm gonna put that at C tier. I feel pretty much the same way about Heavy Gunner, but while Heavy Gunner I feel there's no hope for. Like, besides a Hail Mary, I don't see any chance of him becoming a good unit, even in the long term. But Armadillo, maybe. There is a chance there, especially if they lean into the kind of, him being a mobile tank, but, infantry, if you will. So it depends on how he goes, but for right now, still got to put him at C tier. Also in C tier, medium tanks. Now, why would I put a really good tank, a tank better than light tank, in C tier? Because nanopods. I can't justify the cost, and for that cost, it's got to be put down. Following another tier, man, we are really hitting it off with the C tiers right now. We're gonna put Hunter. Nothing bad, but I really wish he had some kind of use, man. Like, you get Grenadiers the exact same time, and I don't know why you'd ever use a Hunter after Grenader. I really wish Hunter had, like, a boost against all animals, especially raptors and boars and mammoths, to where if he hit them, he did, like, double, maybe even triple damage. And I think that would make him really good, but he doesn't, and it's just like, what is his use, bro? Immediately following that, we got Imperial Dragoon. And man, this hurts me because he's a classic. I love Imperial Dragoon. If this was just going off coolness and like how much I personally like them, he'd be A, maybe even S tier. But unfortunately, we're going off usefulness. And that's going to be another C tier because, bro, he is so underwhelming. He has this big electric stick. You think he's about to destroy everything, and then he just like does a little tap, and you're like, come on, man. So moving straight on, we got the Commando. Commando, gonna put in B tier. Again, another troop you don't really have that many high expectations you send out there for, but once you put him out there and once you get a use for him, you kind of get a feel for him. And once he unlocks his other moves, I feel he's going to be able to do what he's initially intended for, and that is go in there, Commando style, I know, fitting of the name, and be able to take out, 2-3 units by himself in a particular battle situation. So I'm going to put him in B tier, maybe even A tier once he levels up. Then we got the Arsonist. I'm sorry, man. Just be glad I'm not putting you in D, but I got C just because I never really felt it. And maybe once he gets damage over time, B tier, but I just feel a little underwhelmed. Grenadier, you're going to be B tier, bro. Grenadier doesn't try to overwhelm you. He doesn't try to promise too much. And he doesn't underdeliver. He doesn't overdeliver. He says, hey, I'm going to give you a grenade. And guess what? He can throw some grenades. All right, immediately following him, we have the Trooper. Where do I even put him? I feel like you could rank him S and make an argument for it. I feel like you could put him D and make an argument for it. But, shoot, I'm just going to go ahead and break it in the middle and put him B. He's your basic starting trooper. I mean, and in the early game, he's the best troop in the game. After that, he's F tier. Like, not really much to say about our boy, but I'll put him at B tier just for the saying of it. All right, and actually, no, I can't do that. We're putting off usefulness, and in that case, I'm sorry, dude, you're D tier. And immediately following that, we got the Saboteur, and we got another rare S tier. This dude is cooked, and I mean, he is cooking. I said cooked, I meant cooking, because, bro, he is bad. There is another troop that slips my... Special Ops, I was thinking, yeah. Special Ops is a limited edition unit that I and a lot of other people trained like a dozen of, and he was unironically one of the best troops in the entire game for a while. He was basically just a beefed up version of the Saboteur. Now, even just without the beefed up version, just this version, this nanopod costing version, he's still unbelievably good. He's very powerful, he can teleport, he's awesome, he looks cool. Again, another S tier. Following up, we got the Riot Trooper. We're gonna go B tier. A lot of players' first armor, mine included on my beta Let's Play account, comes in, he does his job well. Mortar Team, this might be a little bit controversial, A tier. For when you get them, they're the head of your army. They lead your army for a while. They are so unbelievably good. You're grateful for when you have them, and I genuinely trust them with my life, especially in an early game. So Mortar, easily got to go A tier for me. Immediately following up, another person in A tier, the Shock Trooper. I love this guy. I wish he didn't cost nanopods, and if you could train him with regular in-game resources, I think he'd be arguably the best troop in the game. But, well, not the best troop in the game, but the best troop in the early game. But since he costs nanopods, I'm afraid he can't go into S tier. But even still, you get 2 of them for free just going through the campaign, and those 2 are normally a core part of your army for a pretty long time. Heck, they're still a core part of my army going into, a few of the later game missions. And going immediately after, we have the Recon Vehicle. We'll say another B tier. I am a little underwhelmed by how easily it dies. I think its attack is perfect. It's not overwhelming, it's not underwhelming, but I'm really am, though, underwhelmed and a little bit disappointed by its health. I don't think it needs armor. That might make it a little bit too powerful. But I really did wish it had at least some more health, because this guy goes into battle, he dies so quickly, and then it's a massive vehicle bay repair bill that you gotta pay. So I'm gonna go B tier for now. Again, if he just got a little bit more health, though, he could possibly go A. Immediately following up, we got the Mortar Vehicle, another B tier. Nothing bad with this one at all. It just says it's a mortar team, but basically just vehicle form, and that's what it delivers. Same thing with the gun truck. It's a truck with a gun, and that's what it does. Is it good? Yes, because it's a truck with a gun. B tier as well. Then we got the Ranger, and this might ruffle some feathers, but I'm going to be honest, another C tier for me. Not bad per se, but he's a little bit expensive, especially early on when you first unlock him, and I just wish he had a little bit more kick to him. Immediately following that up, we're going to go something really high, an A tier for heavy recon. This guy's a bad dude. He's nanopods, and that's the only thing that keeps him out of S tier. But even for a nanopod investment, he's worthy. Remember how I was just talking down about recon, and I was like, man, only if it had armor? Yeah, you'll never guess what heavy recon has. It has armor, more health, it's beefier, it's stronger, and it has a rocket attack. It is freaking awesome. It's literally just the recon, but heavier, aka better. And then we got the gunner, who, no doubt, another easy A tier. Are you kidding me? He goes out there, you can spam them. He costs a very cheap amount of gold and only a few hundred gold if you have a nice hospital, a leveled up hospital, to heal. Easy A tier and a very valuable resource early on. Keeping it going, we got the tank killer, and honestly, I'm going to go S tier. I was thinking about putting it A tier, but it is so good, I'm genuinely going to put it S tier. It tells you in the name what it does. It kills a tank. And let me tell you, it can kill a tank. Immediately following that up, we got the field agent, who we're going to put at B tier. Nothing too crazy. Again, I feel if the limited edition was here, it would definitely be S tier. But nothing bad at all. You expect a reasonable amount of him, and he delivers. So field agent, going to go B tier. I would hear arguments for A tier. Battle Raptor. Might be controversial, but for what we have right now, this guy's goated. I'm going to put him S tier. Now, I know that's kind of crazy since I put, the War Mammoth at C tier, but I mean, the Battle Raptor just hits like a raptor. I mean, it's like they have a raptor jumping on them. So he goes out there and he does damage, which is exactly what you want him to do. And for a flesh unit, he's lovely. The only downside to him is if he does go down and you have to send him to the hospital, it costs a tooth to heal him. So that, of course, is unfortunate, but as long as you don't let him go down, you're fine. Then we got the light tank, S tier. Unlike the medium tank, which is just slightly better and costs nanopods, this is just ever so slightly worse and doesn't cost nanopods. So easy investment. And then finally we have the mini tank, which kind of want to put in S tier, but we're just going to go ahead and put in A tier, simply because it's not the craziest thing in the world, which is one attack right now, but it's one of your first really good armored units that you can really put up front. It makes you pretty much Raptors a non-issue for you, especially if you have soldiers behind them. And it's a really good unit. Again, maybe not as crazy to put it at S tier, but a really good unit nonetheless. And that will do it for the tier list, guys. I really enjoyed this episode. I really just had to find this app and download all these images from the wiki. But after doing that, this was a cakewalk. I literally just kind of figured out how to use it while going through. I had a lot of fun making this video, and I hope you guys had a lot of fun watching it. If you made it this far, I greatly appreciate you. Thank you very much for watching all the way through. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider dropping a like down below and subscribing to the channel if you are new. And with all that being said, guys, thank you very much for watching, and as always, have a great rest of your day.